to the channel. So today we're going to talk about a company that's probably the most popular company to invest in right now. Has explosive growth. The stock has risen a whole lot. But we're going to talk about why at this point we would not purchase that company. And if you find this content to be beneficial, please subscribe, like, and get notifications so that this channel can grow. Let's get right into it. So the company that we're going to talk about today is Nvidia. Nvidia has been exploding. I'll just give you some numbers of how much it's up. Right now, this year it's up over 80%. The stock is around $924 a day, I believe. Over the last year, it's up over 200%. Over the last 5 years, it's up over 5,000%. And this would be a company that we would have loved to purchase at the time before all this went on. The reason why we wouldn't purchase it now, because the two most important factors in when you're purchasing any business, whether it's a private business or whether it's a public business, like we're buying Nvidia stock. Nvidia is selling at like 2.42 trillion. And so we would have to ask ourselves, will we purchase this company right now? Will we purchase it whole? The two most important factors in purchasing a company is there a long-term sustainable business for this company? And also, what is the purchase price that you pay? I believe that Nvidia has a long-term sustainable business. I don't believe that they would dominate the market the way that they're doing now into the future. And also the price that I would have to pay to own this company at 2.4 trillion is just way too high. Let me give you some of the price to earnings, and just so you can see just how explosive this company is. Last year, in 2023, the company earned 3.33 cents on their their price to earnings, or how much they earned per share. This year, they're projected to earn $12.97, and in 2025, they're projected to earn $24.48. Normally, if you go by price to earnings, through the current year, increasingly, it's really high. But even with their next year of 2024 earnings, it's a $73 PE. And for next year at earning 2048, it's a $38.77 PE, which I believe is way too explosive, way too high for a company like this. There's a couple problems that I have besides just the price that you gotta pay. Right now, Nvidia is priced to perfection. A lot of the traders love it. Some investors probably love it at this point because it goes up, but what goes up just don't keep going up. Now, for what they've done, and if you're not very familiar with Nvidia, and if you're into investing, you probably are, Nvidia have had explosive growth because they're the first company to be successful at making AI chips. Just to go over what's going on in the market right now, all the big boys, Meta, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, everybody's purchasing AI chips, and Nvidia is the leader at purchasing AI chips. They pretty much almost got the market dominated in AI chips. No one is nowhere near them. But the main problem with Nvidia and chips is chips is a commoditized business. And they want to have a lot of competitors here in the future, competitors of old like AMD and Intel, and they're actually going to have new competitors like Meta, Google, and I believe Apple will also start making AI chips. And so right now, Nvidia is able to sell these chips because they're in such high demand. They're able to sell these chips at really high prices because most companies are fighting for them, and they'll pay whatever it is that they need to pay to get them because they're trying to be the first to market and dominate and put themselves in position for their company. Like you heard of the chat boxes that Microsoft and Google are doing. Meta is doing their own form of chat box. You're going to have a lot of companies doing a lot of different things with AI, so these chips again are in high demand. But like I said, AMD has already announced that they're making their own AI chip. And they're going to catch up to Nvidia, I believe. That's the way capitalism works. Someone comes out, dominate the market. The other companies see that it's a really good market. So they're going to do what they need to do to bring their chips to market, which ideally in capitalism should bring the price down to some form of equilibrium once the market is pretty much, you know, there's enough buyers and there's enough sellers in the market for the chips. And what normally happens in capitalism, because there's such high demand and because they're so profitable, they overproduce and they saturate the market in chips, and it'll bring down. Now this may be a couple years from now. As I said, Nvidia may earn the money that they're going to make in 2025, but I can't imagine that would have to be the peak. So if we're saying that Nvidia is at a $2.4 trillion company and they're selling for a PE right now of 38, which is really high for a company like that. So what's going to happen when they no longer dominate the market? I would not purchase this stock in the 900s. I actually can imagine it being cut in half once the market plays out. I believe that Nvidia is a wonderful company and is a great company. But like I said, it's what price do you pay, and are you paying too high a price today? So if you think that it's going to have the explosive growth over the last 5 years of 2,000%, I think that's almost impossible. Do I think for the next year it's going to be up? Actually, it's up 252%. So that means if it's up 200%, that means it will have to double from here, which would take you to about a $5 trillion market cap. And if it goes up another 100% from there, you know, so from here we're talking probably like a $7.2 trillion market cap, which would take the stock to about 2,700, which would take this 2025 PE, it'll take that from 38 to over 100, and it'll just be, will they be able to sustain that type of growth into the future? I believe that is, at this point, that it's really, really risky to buy Nvidia, even though it's a great company, but the price is just too high. And as I said, I could see it being cut in half. AMD is up, you know, because people, you know, if Nvidia don't went up this much, if AMD is coming, AMD is up quite a bit with the projections that they're going to come out with their own chips and they're going to cut into Nvidia's market. Intel, which has been a complete underperformer over the last couple of years, they've been doing, you know, really bad. Intel was the great chip maker of its time. Intel was, you know, in the 80s and 90s what Nvidia is today. But I believe that Intel is not going to sit around and watch. They're building new factories coming online in America in 2025, and they're also building their own strategy in AI. And I believe as you see big pocket companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, they need these chips really bad. They know they're overpaying for these chips, so they're trying to produce them in-house. And so once they produce their own chips, the chips for Nvidia may not be nowhere near in demand that it is today. So that's two parts of why I wouldn't purchase Nvidia right now. The price that you have to pay, the stock price that you have to pay for it, and also the business that they have today and the way that they're growing. To think, from 2023, they increased their earnings. They earned $3.33, and they're projected to earn $12.97. That's almost 4 times the increase in earnings in 1 year. And that's absolutely impressive, and that's absolutely explosive. And then on top of that, in 2025, they're due to double their earnings. So one may say this looks and appears to be a wonderful investment, but I believe that it's completely overvalued. I will be very, very careful investing in this stock. Now, I'm an investor, I'm not a trader. If you're a trader and you say you believe it can go from 924 the way it is today, and you believe it can go up to 1,000, I mean, that may be something that probably will happen, but that's not the game that I play. I try to purchase businesses that has a long-term projected record that they're going to be in business, and I also try to get it at a fair price, and I never really plan on selling that business until I can see something in the market that's changing the marketplace that may affect that business. So again, I just try to recap what we talked about. I believe Nvidia is a wonderful company, an excellent company. I just believe that at this price that you're having to pay at $924, $2.4 trillion market cap is just way too expensive to pay for this growth that you're getting. Now, if Nvidia, for some reason in the near future, comes down quite a bit, and for me, it would have to come down a lot. Nvidia is a good company, and it may be something that I may consider. I mean, they're they're probably the best ran chip company out there. Their CEO is very innovative. He thinks ahead in the future. He's really bringing AI and probably going to continue to be the leader to bring AI to different parts of the marketplace. It's just that this is a classic example that you're buying a good company, but you may have to pay too high a price. Thank you for listening.